Isipin po natin, sir, there is nothing as West Philippine Sea. Wala po yun. That is a creation by us. Sa totoo lang po, kahit nabasahin mo yung ating mapa or what, there is no West Philippine Sea. Director, kasi sinabi mo kanina, we must empower our people. Tama naman yun. We have to enlighten our people because if our people are able to distinguish what is fake and what is true, sila lang, they can always repel. Maski na konting tulong lang. Halimbawa kanina, sabi ni Chair Dan, ang problema natin is the West Philippine Sea, sabi natin. But sinong agency ng government ang nag-empower sa ating mga kababayan para malaman nilang complications ng West Philippine Sea? Isipin po natin, sir, there is nothing as West Philippine Sea. Wala po yun. That is a creation by us. Sa totoo lang po, kahit nabasahin mo yung ating mapa or what, there is no West Philippine Sea. Ang West Philippine Sea, yun po yung area na kiniklaim natin, ito yung exclusive economic zone. The complications of the West Philippine Sea has not been explained to our people. Kaya po, nagiging vulnerable tayong lahat. Ang sinasabi nila, inoccupied daw ng China ang ating territory. Sir, sa totoo lang po, if CICC and other agencies would cooperate with one another to empower our people, to educate them all, wala pong madideceive kahit ano pang gawin ng China. Kasi alam po na, we are all claimants dito po sa panig ng South China Sea. Several of us, Philippines, China, Vietnam, hindi po natin alam ang Vietnam as the most features occupied in the South China Sea. They had 22, China is 14, tayo, 8, Malaysia, 14, Taiwan, 1. Pero po, kaya po nagsimula dito, yung mga tao natin, ang mga kababayan natin, kahit na pong i-feed mo sa kanya, akala niya yung totoo because we were unable to educate them. We have not enlightened them as to the complications of the South China Sea. What is the South China Sea? Di ba? So, doon po tayo magsimula. Ngayon, magdi-discuss tayo. We will repel this. Mahirapan din po So nagiging biktima po lahat ang kababayan natin. Kahit na po dito sa ating kapulungan ngayon, hindi pa nila alam kung ano-ano po ba ino-occupy ng China. Hindi po territory ang issue in the South China Sea. Ang issue dito is our maritime rights. The maritime rights designated by our exclusive economic zone. These are not territories under public international law. So, kailangan po tayong mag-educate. Tama po kayo sa premise nyo kanina, but until and unless you are able to educate our people on the complex issues surrounding the South China Sea, pare-pareho tayo pong mabibiktima. So yun muna, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat, Congressman. I agree with you. But with all due respect, the policy of the government about the West Philippine Sea must be followed by all of us. Because people governing this country is elected by the people. And having a policy like what was delivered by the Coast Guard of this country, we have to adhere with that. So sige, proceed na po tayo CICC para pumunta po tayo doon sa tinatawag po nating deepfakes on how to analyze and to find out kung ito po ay peke o hindi.
With the permission of the chair. Good afternoon po. I am Marco, an agent of CICC, and I'll be presenting one of the tools that will basically detect deepfakes. So this tool, if you run it on your computer, anything that will be seen or you've watched on the computer, say for example a YouTube video, Facebook video, a video from X, this tool will be able to detect it. So I will be quickly doing a demo of this tool. So one of our examples here is a deepfake video on President Zelensky. So this is publicly available on YouTube. So this tool, this app of ours is an app where you can install it on your computer. It acts somehow like an antivirus, and when you activate it, it will practically run like a background process. So if I run it now, as you can see here in the lower right, if I run it now and play the video, so it will take some time to analyze the video, and you can see on the lower right that you have a notification there.
The zoom niyo yan.
Yeah, on the lower right, please.
Yung color red sa baba kasi yun ang nagde-determine kung fake or not.
Ito.
Yung nasa lower right, it's not an application that you have to put on your computer or on
Yes,
your cell phone.
For now, it's you have to download it in your computer,
So
Mr. Chair.
anong app yung ida-download mo?
It's a tool called Deepfake Agent. It is
Sige, sir.
Mr. Chair, this is the tool that we have recently acquired, licensed software, which we intend to disseminate to the different watchdogs, to the civil society members who have a large following, so that madali mag-report
How about the members of this committee? Kasi kami rin, wala na naman kaming capacity to find out kung, well, lumabas nga yung pulburon eh. Minsan, nakukonfuse ka. What more
That's
yung
right.
others? So, mabibigyan din po kami ng ganyang,
Well, Mr. Chair, the more the merrier, no?
Okay.
Because we will have a community-based fact checker. Hindi na siya controlled. These are independent fact checkers na who will only report to us.
How will you do that?
By registration. We have a policy right now that's being developed together with the other members of the Council of CICC as a guideline for reporting. You see, we have very limited manpower and very limited. If you have limited manpower, you cannot patrol the whole cyberspace.
Sige po. So, pwede ba natin muna ituloy yan para makita natin kung paano, how it works? Sige, CICC? Anong pangalan mo,
Marco, Mr.
Sige,
Chair.
Marco, please.
Okay, so nag-run through na yung process. So basically, the tool will take snapshots of the deepfake video. So as you can see, if I maximize it here, ayan yung samples, and it practically traces the face where it detects the anomaly. So it's practically automated na. So anything you view sa screen mo, and at the same time this tool is being run, magno-notify agad siya pag merong deepfake.
So, kapag nasa iyo na yung tool na yan, halimbawa sa laptop or sa cellphone, bago ka manood ng isang content or isang video, i-put mo muna yung tool na yon.
Correct, Mr. Chair.
And then lalabas yung color red that kanina nakita namin.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Alright. Sige. So, baka may question yung ibang kasi medyo maganda tong isyong to na makapacitate po natin yung ating mga mamayan how to distinguish para hindi na po nagdedepensa ang gobyerno o sino man na, oy, ano yan, deep fake yan, di ba? Sige. Meron ka pang sample?
May isa pa tayong example, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Ito naman si Tom Cruise, no?
Bruce. Ayan, Tom Cruise, go ahead.
So, ang gagawin ko ulit is to activate the tool and then run through the video. So it will take some time for it to detect. Ayan, so makita natin may notification na naman on the lower right that the deepfake video detected. So ito naman, next scene is si Mark Zuckerberg naman nagkaroon ng deepfake video. So definitely our tool will be able to detect this. So the tool will run for 30 seconds lang, and then after that i-show na niya yung results nung mga nakita niya.
Pwede ba i-download yung ano yan, yung tool na yan? Or mag-originate yan sa inyo, sa DICT?
Mr. Chair, we purchased the license.
So you cannot just download it on your, because you have to pay kung may sa apps.
Right now, it's not a freeware, no? So maybe we can make certain representations to the developer to make it more affordable, especially for Filipinos. But right now, since we have the immediate concern of addressing deepfakes and empowering the public, kami nauna na kaming nag-purchase several
And you're
500 licenses.
And you're giving it for free.
We're giving out for free. Para, of course, law enforcement partners will have a copy. Civil society and leading civil society groups will be provided PPCRV, sila NAMFREL. Ito yung mga organized groups na. Kasi sa kanila nagtatanong, sa kanila tumatakbo yung kanilang members.
At yung mga gumagawa ng ganitong deepfakes, afterwards, nagpapile kayo ng kaso?
If there will be, that's a big problem right now, no? Parang nahihiya mag-file ng complaint yung affected persons. So we really encourage those who are affected by deepfakes and the mga fake news, they have to report, because that's part of our jurisprudence na kailangan mag-file ka ng complaint so that government can act on it.
Pag something personal, you need a complainant, but something like entails national security, motu proprio, our government
Yes, we can do
should
that.
fill in. Secretary.
Mr. Chair, perhaps that's also one of the legislation that can be done. That in these cases, you do not need a personal complainant. That that the law authorizes a motu proprio filing of cases. If you would notice, Mr. Chair, in many instances, these cyber criminals really exploit this gap in the law that you require a complainant. So in the past, when a criminal robs a bank of 10 million pesos, you definitely have a complainant, the bank, kasi ninakawan siya ng 10 million. But a cyber criminal will steal 1 peso from 10 million people, there will be no complainant because ang ninakawan, piso lang. And the complainant will not go to the extent of filing a case and going through all of that for 1 peso. So they get away scot-free because the law requires a complainant to file the case. So in this case, I think the law should allow the law enforcement agency or the prosecution the motu proprio power to represent the people, since it's always the people versus the represent the people without a private complainant to file against these cyber criminals.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes.
At least nakikita natin yung mga lapses natin, loopholes natin. So, it's a good thing that we have a committee hearing like this, no? Para ma-resolve po natin yung mga gaps. Siguro, proceed po tayo sa, kung wala na po sa CICC, punta na po tayo sa DOJ. Meron pa ba sa CICC? Ha?
That's all for now.
NTC pala, NTC. NTC, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. We joined the CICC and DICT's representations.
Thank you so much. Ang NTC kasama sa ano, no? Hindi nila kasama sa coordinating center, di ba? Sige, tanungin na lang kayo ng mga members mamaya NTC. DOJ.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, as well as the co-chairpersons of this TRICOM and our esteemed congressmen. First and foremost, Your Honor, I am State Prosecutor Adan Parocha, Your Honor, and I am representing the Office of Cybercrime in my capacity as the OIC Director, Your Honor. And we joined the presentation of the DICT and CICC, Your Honor, as a council, which we agreed upon and formulated last Friday and yesterday, Your Honor. So we are already part of the presentation, Your Honor.
Yes, okay. NBI Cybercrime Division.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chair and our esteemed members of the Congress. We are one with the CICC as member of the Council. So the presentation of the CICC was a consolidated effort of all of the agencies involved in the Council, Mr. Chair.
Okay. NBI PNP, Cybercrime Group.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to everyone. Actually, sir, we are one also with the ICT and CICC. We have just recently a meeting, and probably the PNP will just be submitting our position paper, our recommendations, and in behalf of the Chief of the Philippine National Police, Police General Romel Francisco Marbil, would like to extend our gratitude for inviting us here. Thank you.
Kanina, just si General Torre. I think biktima rin siya ng ng fake di ba? Pero nag-file siya. Nag-file siya, di ba? Nag-file siya ng kaso, si General Torre. Sayang, hindi natin nakalista siya eh. Tatanungisan natin siya about it. Anyway, punta mo tayo sa independent media organization. Yung ating pong mga... Yes. Ay, okay. O, sige, bigyan natin ng chance yung ating pong yung sa additional academe, si Professor Enrico Basilio from UP, SIPAG. Sige, sir. You are
Magandang hapon, Mr. Chair and members of the TRICOM and guests. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for inviting us to this hearing. With me is a colleague from the Center for Policy and Executive Development of the UP National College of Public Administration and Governance, Ms. Ella Chavez, who is the research policy focal person.
Speak louder po.
On,
yes.
Yes, sir. On cybersecurity
yung mic lang po, lapit na konti.
AI.
You have a presentation, Doc?
No, sir. In the interest of time, I will just summarize the recommendation, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Speak louder, please.
Okay, so the first recommendation, Mr. Chair, focuses on the need to strengthen the cybersecurity legal framework. So, as already discussed by our guests from the government agencies, we observe that there can be a room for amending and expanding the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 to include explicit provisions addressing AI-related cyber threats. This includes establishing ethical guidelines on AI-generated cyber threats such as automated phishing, deepfake-driven misinformation, and AI-powered cyber intrusions. Introducing regulatory and liability frameworks for all AI developers and deployers to ensure accountability in case of security breaches, as mentioned by Professor Khan earlier and other UP professors, and enhancing public-private partnerships for information sharing mechanisms to combat emerging cyber threats effectively. The second recommendation is about the need to establish AI governance and ethical guidelines. AI governance must go beyond cybersecurity and address ethical, economic, and social dimensions. We propose to highlight the ethical considerations in the use of AI that can be connected to cybercrime activities. Thus, it is recommended to develop a national AI ethical guidelines that ensure transparency, fairness, and ethical AI deployment. Number two, conduct regular AI risk assessments to inform legislative actions and foster research collaborations between the government, academic institutions, and industry stakeholders. The third recommendation focuses on the need to enhance capacity building and cyber resilience. Cybersecurity, Mr. Chair, is not solely a legal issue but a governance challenge that requires capacity building at all levels. So we advocate for the development of a national AI resilience strategy that includes threat detection, rapid response protocols, and continuous innovation in cyber defense, as well as conduct of cybersecurity training programs for government agencies, private sector entities, and law enforcement, as well as education campaign and advocacy initiatives on AI ethics and cybersecurity at the secondary and tertiary levels. The fourth recommendation has to do with the need to promote data privacy and digital sovereignty. Data is the backbone of AI systems. Therefore, ensuring strong data protection policies is paramount to safeguarding national security and individual privacy. We recommend, therefore, aligning the Data Privacy Act with international practices in AI-driven data security, establishing strict guidelines on AI data processing, consent mechanisms, and redressal procedures for data misuse, and encouraging investments in indigenous AI technologies to reduce dependence on foreign AI systems, ensuring digital sovereignty. And finally, Mr. Chair, there's a need to consolidate and harmonize current proposed legislations on cybersecurity and AI to ensure that the best strategies are highlighted and included in addressing present and future conditions and concerns related to evolving technologies. So to conclude, the rapid evolution of AI necessitates a proactive, adaptive, and inclusive approach to legal governance. The privileged speech of Representative Ace Barbers has rightfully highlighted the need for urgent and comprehensive legislative action. The Center for Policy and Executive Development of UP-NCPAG stands committed to working alongside with policymakers, regulators, and industry leaders in crafting evidence-based, forward-looking policies on AI and cybersecurity. Thus, we would like to manifest, Mr. Chair, our participation in the ICT Technical Working Group Committee on the House Bills on Artificial Intelligence. And we will submit formally our position to the joint committees. Maraming salamat po at magandang hapon na po sa kanilang lahat.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. So, mag-proceed po tayo sa Independent Media Organization website. Konti na lang po to. And then our mga vloggers, and then we can start the interpellation. So, si Miss Ellen Tordesillas, President ng Vera Files. Ma'am, you are recognized.
Magandang hapon po, Chairman Fernandez, saka yung mga co-chairs itong sa Joint Committee, at saka lahat na, the Honorable Congressman here. Ako po si Ellen Tordesillas, isang journalist. Tama ba? Kasama po ako sa founders ng Vera Files. Vera Files is Tika, ito. Okay ba? Yeah. Okay. Vera Files is a non-profit media organization registered with the SEC. Yeah. Our objective in forming Vera Files is to advance excellence in journalism, which we consider as an important pillar of democracy. Okay. Vera Files does a lot of fact-checking, fact-checking with us is we debunk published falsehood with verified facts. And it is also, fact-checking is also accountability journalism. We want to hold responsible all those who spread falsehood. Vera Files is a member of the International Fact-Checking Network. It's an organization of more than 170 fact-checkers all over the world who adhere to international standards in fact-checking. Vera Files is also a third-party fact-checker of Meta, Facebook here in the Philippines. As a third-party fact-checker of Meta, we don't block, we don't delete falsehood that are proliferating in the platform. We identify what are false, misleading in the platform to help the platform become more safe and to prevent harm for those who are visiting the. I mean that's the purpose of Meta setting up the program of fact checking in their platform. Then in the process of fact checking, we have identified most of the falsehoods that we identify in social media are scams, hoaxes, and
Mr. Chair, can I interrupt? Is Secretary Oy leaving now? May tatanong sa kanya kasi, sandali lang sana. Alis na ba siya? For a few minutes na lang.
Ang tanong niya, mag-ingat ka na? Mag-ingat ka.
ano,
Sabi ko, no, dito sana eh. Kaya lang, mamaya lang.
Thank you, Congressman Plato, for your understanding. Sige, Ma'am Vera.
tuloy ako?
Opo, ma'am.
Sige, okay. Sa pag-ano namin, sa pag-check namin as a third-party fact checker of Meta, ang mga nakikita namin karamihan na falsehood, you know, I try to avoid the term fake news because it's an oxymoron actually, because when we say fake news kasi, the term fake news kasi undermines the value of news, which is, you know, pag news kasi dapat totoo yan eh. Pag hindi totoo kayo, chismis yan. So pag ninabi mong fake news, parang 'di ba oxymoron, you don't modify something that is true with the word fake. But anyway, nagiging ano na kasi parang Colgate, no, tsaka toothpaste. Pero anyway, but anyway, what do we fact check? We fact check falsehood, lies, which are proliferating in social media. We follow criteria in deciding which to fact check. Dahil sa dami-dami talaga, tama yung sabi ni Chairman Fernandez, na talagang pag nagba-viral in thousands in a matter of minutes and hours, ganon. So may criteria kaming fina-follow what to fact check. Number one, it should be a statement of fact. Hindi kami nagpa-fact check ng opinion, hindi kami nagpa-fact check ng fiction, di ba? Hindi kami nagpa-fact check ng prediction. Di ba? Pag sinabi mo kasi na we expect the Philippines to be to belong to the first world group in 5 years, hindi namin pwedeng fact check yan, di ba? Kasi wala pa namang 5 years, ganun. So anyway, number one, it should be a statement of fact. Number two, it should be relevant. Kasi kahit naman may false one, hindi ko ipa-fact check kung ano nangyari kay Maris Racal tsaka kay Anthony Jennings, no? Kasi ano naman relevance nun sa general public, di ba? So kino-consider namin yung relevance. Saka isa pa is, ang third is, kaya ba namin i-fact check sa madaling panahon? Kasi iba kasi ang fact checking kaysa investigative journalism. Ang investigative journalism kasi it will take weeks and months, gano'n. Ang number one, ang importante sa fact check is to stop the spread of falsehood. Agad kailangan mo ma-stop. So kailangan, kaya ba namin ito i-fact check at least one day, you know? Mahaba na kasi yung one day, but mahaba na siguro yung 2 araw. Kailangan ma-stop. Tsaka kailangan kasi pag nag-fact check kami, we debunk falsehood with verified facts. Hindi namin pwedeng hindi kami pwedeng magsabi lang na mali, ganon. Kasi 'di ba, pangit naman yung na-fact checker ka tapos yung fact check mo mali rin, 'di ba? So, kailangan verified facts. And ang additional criteria namin is yung virality. Kasi kung mas viral, mas urgent yun ang isa-stop na, yun ang uunahin namin, ganon. So yun ang aming mga criteria namin sa pag-practice. Ang karamihan sa mga nakikita namin na falsehood sa social media are scams, no? Yung mga nanloloko, yung ayuda, SWS. Magbibigay sila marami yan. Maraming naloloko diyan. Marami rin ang usually health scams, ganon yung mga gamot sa diabetes, gamot sa cancer. In fact, ang isa sa mga naloko nga sa gamot ng diabetes, yung ating national artist na si Kidlat Tahimik. Nakabili siya ng package ba yun na binibenta ng diabetes. Hindi naman. Kasi ang mga nanloloko kasi dito, they earn money by the clicks, di ba? So, gagawa lang sila ng mga headline na clickbait, they call it clickbaits. The moment nag-click ka, kikita na sila dun eh. So, wala namang laman yung kanilang website, pero kumikita sila dun. So, tingnan, marami. Tapos hoaxes, yung mga namamatay, like, namatay si Jackie Chan. Yan, kahit na, magugulat ka, di ba? Magugulat ka. Tapos, kahit na later malaman mo na hindi totoo, nakaklik ka na, di ba? So, yun ang marami. Tapos, ngayon habang lumalapit yung election, tumataas yung falsehoods na lumalabas related to sa election. So, medyo kasi 'di ba yung ang nakakabahala kasi dito sa disinformation na nangyayari is kasi tayo 'di ba we make decisions based on the information that we have. So kahit from sa maliit na bagay hanggang sa matters of national interest, lahat yun nakabase yun sa tamang impormasyon. So kung sa election na to, magdi-decide tayo kung sino yung bubutuhin natin para magiging mga leader natin sa ating community hanggang sa national. So kailangan dapat yung decision natin nakabase sa tamang kung kandidato ba na ito gumagawa or maraming nagawang masama o whatever, ano siyang klaseng tao. So, importante yun. So, ngayon habang palapit yung election, masyadong may dumadami yung falsehood. So, as third-party fact-checker ng Facebook, kasi maraming nagagalit sa amin dahil akala nila nagbablock, kami ang nagdi-delete ng mga post. Hindi nangyayari yun. Di ba sabi ko kanina, kinaklasify, pag may nakikita kaming falsehood sa Facebook, everyday, pagkagising namin, yun ang trabaho namin, to scour the social media of false and lies that are proliferating in the platform. So, ginagawa namin, so yun, may proseso kami para masigurado na yung aming fact check ay nakabase rin sa facts, ganon. So sinasubmit namin sa Facebook yon. Ang Facebook ngayon ang magde-decide kung anong action ang gagawin nila doon. Ang ginagawa ng Facebook usually is binababa nila yung false na yung maling post, binababa nila sa kanilang feed. So, ibig sabihin nun, kung i-click mo yan, hindi na yan basta-basta magsispread. So, ang mangyayari dyan, malilesen yung kita kasi hindi na yan basta nakikita, malilesen yung kita nung nag-post nung maling, ng maling post, gano'n. Tapos, tapos pag kinlik mo yan, pag kinlik pa niya para i-share sa iba, may lalabas na advisory na this post has been tagged by Verifiles as false. Tapos kahit yung beneficiary, yung target na papadalhan niya, magkakaroon din ng ganong notice. So pero nandyan pa rin sa platform yung kanyang post kasi hindi sabi kasi ng Facebook freedom of expression kaya hindi nila yan dinidelete. Pero sa katagalan pa rin pag tumagal ka rin na palagi ka na lang pina-flag namin, darating na rin yung oras na Facebook magde-decide na rin yung Facebook na yung account mo siguro medyo maapektuhan yung account mo. Pero
Hey,
hindi
Miss Ellen, ma'am,
gumagawa
may
nun.
tanong lang po ako sa inyo. Ilan po kayong mga fact-checkers sa buong Pilipinas?
Dalawa lang kami dito ang
Ano po isa?
ng Facebook.
Aside from Verify,
Vera Paz Rappler.
saka
Tapos,
Rappler po.
yung sinasabi ko kanina, yung dalawa lang kami dito. Ang Philippine-based. Meron pa isa kasi yung Agence France Press, ganon. Pero yung,
Mama, speak louder po. Hindi po namin kayo madinig.
aside kasi from ang Philippine registered na fact checker is Vera Paz and Rappler, pero meron pang isa dito na nag-operate dito sa Pilipinas, yung Agence France Press, which is an international organization. They fact check, but there are 6 mayroong yung certified ng IFCN, kasama kasi yung Press 1, ABS-CBN, Philstar, Mindan News, Probe. Yun pa yung
Okay.
ano yan na mayroong IFCN certified yan. Pero maraming nagpa-fact check, maraming nagpa-fact check. So,
And siguro ma'am, pinaka-the best po natin gawin is to have all this group na fact-checkers, no? Para ma-coordinate natin sa CICC para you can help the government.
Yeah, in fact, interesado ako eh.
Are you having a understanding with the government agency? Meron po ba o wala?
Wala.
Wala pa po, no?
Kasi to maintain our independence kasi hindi
Oh,
kami
yeah. Okay. I will understand. Okay.
Ngayon meron kaming oncoming project with PCO. We have worked with the Human Rights Commission. We have done training for the Human Rights Commission and for the OPAP.
Yeah. Okay. Ma'am, thank you so much po, no. We will be asking you again kasi may mga members who wanted to ask yung Vera Files, no.
Kasi yung one comment na lang.
Sige po.
Alam mo, na nakita ko tong yung resolution. What I liked about this is that yung review existing laws, particularly RA 13175 kasi tama yung kasi yung I like the fact that you are reviewing existing laws kasi baka kasi marami ng yung ating problema ngayon, baka nandun na yun sa ibang existing laws lang At least you are not starting from zero, di ba? Parang ganun. So, I like that.
Thank you.
That's one thing I like that about.
Thank you so much po, ma'am.
Parang ko lang isa pang importante is
That's the very essence of our conducting this hearing.
Yes.
Marami po salamat.
yung isa lang kasi yung fact check, the fight kasi against disinformation should not only be the responsibility of professional fact checkers. It should be responsibility of each and every one of us, So, we try to train as many people as possible to how to spot fake news. Pero ang importante talaga is the value of yung valuing truthfulness. Kasi dapat pag may nakita tayong lies and falsehood, dapat maano na tayo yung antena mo dapat mag-on at saka mag-turn off ka Kaya lang, I'm worried sometimes that we take the lack of truthfulness parang casually for granted. So I think we should, yun ang pinakaano ko is, I think we should strengthen our appreciation for truthfulness. And it should not start only, it should start, the school should as
Yes, ma'am. Meron lang interjection si Congressman Barbers. Barbers, can you
Thank you, Mr.
say
Chairman.
something, please?
We appreciate, Ma'am Ellen, yung iyong comments, no? Dahil gaya rin po ninyo, gusto rin po natin na puro katotohanan din yung nababasa, nakikita, napapanood sa social media. Matanong ko lang po kayo sa inyong personal na opinion na Miss Ellen, ano ba ang opinion nyo tungkol sa mga vloggers?
Kaya sinabi ko kanina, I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
Kasi merong mga journalist na nagbablog, di ba? But blogging does not make you a journalist. Yun kasi as a journalist kasi, we adhere to the core values of journalism, which are truthfulness, fairness.
Meron po kayong code of ethics, di ba?
Yes,
Meron po kayong code of conduct. Tama? Dito ba sa social media vlogging, naniniwala kayo na kailangan natin lagyan ng code of conduct or at least man lang merong ethical standards
Dapat.
ang gumagamit. Okay, salamat po ma'am. Yun lang po ang opinion na gusto namin marinig sa inyo. Thank you.
Yeah, sige, yun. Salamat din.
Chair.